Hello YouTube, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be going over and demonstrating emergency tire repairs. Now, as you can see, I've picked up a screw into my tire and we need to plug it. I've picked it up at some point in time yesterday, came out from work last night to come home, and the tire pressure monitoring system threw an alarm on me, and it leaked off about 6 or 7 pounds of air. So it was okay to drive home on because I only live like 10 miles from work, but it still needs fixed. Now, the first thing you need to do is identify where your leak's at. Now, I got lucky in that when I stopped here at the house, it was obvious because it's sticking up on top of the tire. It's not always this easy to find. A lot of times it'll be embedded in. Sometimes I find that it's easiest just to listen for the leak if it's bad enough that you're losing air pretty quickly. If not, you can take Windex and and it's a lot easier if you're having to hunt it down to just go ahead and jack the vehicle up, take the tire off. That way you can work with it. And I find that Windex is really good for finding leaks. Check around the tire, look for any kind of possible punctures. If you don't find any punctures in the tire, then it's always good to check your beads. I've ended up having to take the Jeep down to the local Walmart to have all 4 tires broke down and reseated because they were leaking around the beads when shortly after I got it. So if you're not figured, I have terrible luck out of tires. I can put brand new tires on this thing and have a flat the next week. So once you've found where your leak's coming from, the first thing you need to do is remove whatever it is that's in it, whether it be a nail, screw, what have you. So we'll go ahead and we'll get this out. So we have it out. That's our culprit, and now it's leaking. So then the next thing we're going to do is put this somewhere where it's not going to end up back in the driveway. So this is one option for the tool. This one's a combination reamer and plug pusher. Some kits that you'll buy will have it as separate tools. The T-handle ones are really nice because they're easier to use. But after you remove the offending nail or screw, you'll want to take your reamer. And I know this sounds kind of counterintuitive, but you'll want to take and wring that hole out and make it bigger. If I get this into it, drop those. But you have to, and the reasoning for doing that is that you have to make your hole large enough, oh, there it goes, to actually get your plug in. So once you get it in, you just kind of want to work it a little bit. Make sure that you're all the way through. Kind of wring your hole out a little. Now, that should be good because you have to make it big enough to fit one of these. So, I had the tool from previous tire repairs. So, I ended up just having to buy plugs. Bought these down at the local Walmart. Well, had my wife pick them up. So what you want to do is just take one of these plugs, try to keep it in the frame here, and so since our reamer is built into our plug tool, we'll have to pull that out. Now if you have the set that has the reamer separate, you can go ahead and put this on while your reamer's in to kind of hold air in so you don't lose as much. But you can hear that it's really hissing and coming out now. So you have kind of like threading a needle. Pull it about halfway, and then what you want to do is go back into your hole and start pushing your plug in. Now be careful, because when it goes, it's going to go. Oh, there it goes. And let's see if we can zoom in on that to show you. You don't want to push the plug all the ways in. There we go. You can see how there's still some, let's see if we can get to focus here. You can see how there's still some of the plug stuck out around the tool. You want to leave a good little tail sticking out, because if you push it all the ways in, you've lost your plug inside your tire. So once you have it about that condition, then ideally you want to pull your tool back out, and it should slip off. The plug should slip off and stay in the tire. Like I said, you want that tail to stick out. It's not pretty, but that's what actually plugs your hole. Then I'm going to go get some detergent, and the best thing to do is to take and spray around it, check and make sure that it is sealed and that you don't have any bubbles. So I'll be right back. Okay, so we went back and got our glass cleaner. So then it's real simple. Just spray around the plug, and you're going to have some bubbles, but what you're looking for is new bubbles forming, especially in and around your plug area. So just watching it and checking it, I don't see any new bubbles forming on that. So let's get a close-up of that. So if the camera will focus. Sorry, I hit a wrong button. So we have no new bubbles forming, so our tire is plugged. So now the only thing left to do is to air it back up to what we run it at, which I like to run the tires on the Jeep about 36-37 psi. That's where the TPMS is set at, and that's what the factory recommendation is for tire pressures. So we'll go get our air chuck and blow it back up. Okay, as you can see, it's kind of a change of scenery. I'm having to reshoot the end of this video because my wife was mowing the grass, which needed done, while I was working on the Jeep. And when I went to edit the video and put all the clips together, there for probably about 2/3 of the video you couldn't hear anything I was saying. So basically I was just wanting to wrap up the video by saying that I've used plugs in tires, and I've always had good luck out of them for tire repair. Now, of course, you know, a plug is not going to fix a big gash in the tire, and you never want to plug the sidewall of a tire if you can get away with it. You know, plugging the sidewall, that's already a weak point in the tire. That's a, you know, you have no more spare and you need to get home move. I know some people don't like plugs in their tires. The option to that would be, you would have to take it to a tire shop and pay them to break your tire down, and they can either put a patch on the inside of the tire to seal the hole, or they have what's called a boot, which is kind of like a plug patch combination, in that you actually have a end piece that will come through the tire to fill the hole, and it's attached to a patch that would seal from the inside as well. Which, you know, patches and boots are more structurally sound, so to speak. But I mean, I've ran tires with, you know, like 3 plugs in them, because it was, you know, a new tire that I put on in the fall, and somehow I ended up with 3 nails in the tire in the space of a week. But I plugged the tire back, and I ran it like that for probably, gosh, I don't know, another 6 months before I traded the truck in. So, I mean, once you get a plug in, it's there. I mean, it's very rare for a plug to come out if it's installed properly. Now, that means, which, you know, that means, you know, like you just saw in the video, you have to make sure that you have your plug in, but don't push it all the way through. Ideally, you want to shoot for, of course, you know, when you take and run your plug through your tool, you're at the halfway point of the plug. You want half of that on the inside and half on the outside as perfect positioning for it. So that's what you want to try to shoot for positioning. Generally, plugs work best for smaller punctures, you know, something like a screw or a nail, where, you know, 1 plug is needed. In an emergency, get you home situation, you know, a bigger hole, you know, not quite a gash, but a big hole. You know, you might have to put 2 or 3 plugs in it. If you have to do more than 1 plug, I would recommend being very cautious, because I'm not entirely sure myself how well more than 1 plug in a hole will work as to whether or not it's going to stay. So you'd want to, you know, drive slower and monitor it. But, you know, it certainly can be done to get you home. But if you have to do more than 1 plug in a hole, my advice would be to look at replacing that tire. So I just want to say thank everyone for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. If you want to see more content, subscribe to my channel so you can find me again. And I'll see everyone later.